In the last episode of our leisure travel van series, we walk you through the upgrades to the unit, including 960 watts of solar, a new air conditioning, 1260 amp hours of batteries, and a new controller system. In this episode, we put those upgrades to use. Good morning. Today is February 23rd, 2026, and yes, I still live in Florida. But because of this recent cold snap, I'm wearing gloves and a hat and a very thick hoodie to get the RV prepped for our trip this week. This week, we are taking our first camping trip of the year, and we're just going to head about 4 hours south to Naples, Florida, to the Picayune State Forest. We're going to a primitive camping site. The reason why we're going to a primitive camping site is that we want to test out all the new electrical equipment that we had installed. Now, originally, we thought that we'd be going into, 80 or so degree weather in Naples, Florida. But with this cold streak, it'll barely clear 75. So we'll have to test out our heat pump rather than our air conditioner. As you can see, I've given the rig a good bath, and now I just have to check the tire pressure and load up the bikes and the grill into the RV. So we had the van here on Saturday, starting around 10 a.m. Saturday's high was about 84 degrees, so we did get to run the air conditioner that day. And we ran it all day long, right into the evening. We only lost about 16% of our batteries. So that's pretty good. But this week will be the test. We'll put it through some paces, including using my very power-hungry rice cooker one day this week. So let's get started prepping the van. The drive was literally almost all highway until we made it down to Naples. Even though the campground is only 8 miles away from Naples and only 2 miles off the highway, because of the circuitous route, it takes about 45 minutes to get from the highway to the campground. Today, we are staying at the Picayune State Forest Horseshoe Campground. It is a no-frills campground, no services, no potable water, no sewer, no electric. But that's why we're here, to test out our self-sustaining rig. The weather was beautiful, mid-60s, and so we set up camp and relaxed, having our customary alcoholic beverages and snacks. Janetta has her customary Smart Pop cheddar cheese popcorn, and I have my crunchy Cheetos. A little while later, I fired up our Nomad grill for barbecuing some hamburgers. Nothing fancy today, just burgers and chips for dinner. As the sun went down, the temperature dropped dramatically. Janetta decided she was done, and she went inside, and I pulled up the hood to my hoodie and tried to last for a couple of hours till at least dark. But it got cold enough that even I gave up.
All right, that's it.
I'm calling it.
You're calling it? Bring me that bag in.
For energy details, we typically took in about 600 to 750 watts of solar power, and that was enough to offset the energy usage from the air conditioner by about 50%. With the air conditioning running, we were typically inverting about 1,000 watts of power, and when we combine that with other appliances, maybe the coffee maker, the microwave, or the rice cooker, we were inverting typically anywhere between 1,600 to 2,400 watts, well under the 3,000 watt inverter maximum. And this last screenshot shows the highest amount of amps being pushed into the batteries from the solar panels. So overall, the electrical system worked very well. We never got below 71% of our total battery capacity. And each day, by driving or getting energy in from the sun, we were able to fully charge back up to 100%. The next morning, Janetta set up her East Oak pop-up screen house. Before I get any complaints about why I'm not helping her, Janetta wanted to do this all by herself. All right, we have the East Oak screen house that Janetta has purchased. She popped it up all by herself. Some poles holding it upright. And then it's just staked out at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corners. I don't think we'll ever stay any place long enough to use it, but...
Yeah, because it only takes up, that's why I got it, because he never wants to stay anywhere worth any time, so I had to get a quick pop-up one.
So while Janetta has her breakfast in her, what's it called? East Oak screen house, I'm going to take a quick walk around and show you the campsite area. There are 3 RV sites at this hunt camp, and they're pretty large. We are in Site J, which goes from here all the way to the second post. There's Site K that is empty, and then Site L, which has this converted school bus. Since this is a horse camp, there are stables for use for people taking their horses on the trails. And just outside of the RV sites, there is a trail entrance. There is a warning about bears, but the camp host told us they haven't seen a bear here in almost 3 years. There is a porta potty that's just outside the RV area. And these are called hunt campsites. There is a pavilion with a picnic table and a grill. There is a hunter's area for hanging your kill for dressing. And there is non-potable water. Not sure what good that does you, but at least you can wash things. There is another porta potty on the tent camping side. And then there are probably 20 to 30 odd group and single camping sites for tent campers. Bear in mind that this is a state forest campground, and they have a depot at the entrance for all of their heavy equipment. And this is the Picayune State Forest, so obviously they have Smokey the Bear. Fire danger today is medium. There's a ranger over there. And again, this is a Forest Service area, so they have their depot for all of their equipment. At the entrance, they do have a dumpster for trash and a welcome area. The Picayune Strand Campground does require a fee. I think we paid $9 per night. You can register in fact, you have to register online. You must pay your fees online to camp here. And there's a whole information area. And what I hope are some maps. There is a large group camping area right at the entrance to the park, and also an event pavilion. All right, so we're gonna go walking along one of these trails. Janetta's using the Maryland app to listen for birds. Yep, would have been great if I could fly my drone, but Florida state parks and guess state forests too, no drones allowed. That's it for the Picayune State Forest and our first electrical system shakedown. We learned a lot about the system, but more importantly, we learned about the individual load that each one of our appliances puts on the inverter. So now we have a better idea of which appliances we can run at the same time and which combination of appliances would overload the inverter. We're just gonna chill out at the campsite for another night, and tomorrow morning, make our way back to Ocala. We will probably get in one more boondocking trip before we start to make our way for Canada in May. But of course, we'll take you along for the ride. See you next time.